Good evening.
It's an airplane for air and water.
You convinced us that you were the last messenger. How many other bastard children do you have?
15 to be exact. 15 to be exact. I appreciate you guys coming in. Let me Hey, morning. Let's leave that right there, man. Y'all better go order that film, man. Y'all need something to watch. If y'all need something to watch in between the early game and the late game, perfect piece of art. 15 minutes, man. I think it's the greatest short film of the year. I think we all should go watch it. Now let's have this conversation, y'all. Click the link below. 9 Wives. Why not? Anthony Joshua, man. I want to talk about the big picture, man. I think Anthony Joshua is still a very good heavyweight. He may go from 2 to 4, 2 to 5, 2 to, you know, I mean, he's not, I mean, he had a really bad night last night, and you can attribute a lot of that to Usyk, and you also can attribute to that to him being gun shy, you know, and the bubble wrapping that Eddie Hearn has done on Anthony Joshua is beginning to unravel, you know. But I want to talk about a bigger picture. We're going to talk about this tonight in the barbershop at hopefully at great length. Depends on how the calls go. But Anthony Joshua blew the biggest bag in the sport of boxing. I mean, the biggest bag, because he wanted to keep his WBO belt. I think January, February, we could have had the biggest fight that we've ever had. You know, Deontay Wilder versus Anthony Joshua. Okay, I'm just going to say the winner of Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder, so it can all make sense, so people don't have to argue who's the better heavyweight. I want to talk about who makes the most money, who could have got the bag. And when you got an opportunity to put the world on his ears and literally take control, you're not playing checkers, you're not playing chess, you're playing what your last name is. And I think Anthony Joshua and Deontay Wilder could have done that for about a year. I think if Anthony Joshua waits, drop your WBO belt or petition it, fake an injury, get COVID. There's so many ways out of this equation. You know what I mean? Give Usyk his $2 million, man. Go, get away. The winner of Deontay Wilder, Tyson Fury. And if it was Deontay Wilder, it would have been a mega fight. And we missed out on that opportunity. Not the mega fight, but the mega generational wealth that could have transpired. Not only did Anthony Joshua miss out, but Deontay Wilder missed out. That's why I was rooting for Anthony Joshua, man. I wasn't rooting for Usyk to win. You know, I like big fight energy in boxing. I really, it drives the sport. You know, it's like the anticipation of the Lakers versus Brooklyn Nets this year in the finals, and last year in the finals, or New England versus. That's why Tom Brady's probably going to play New England this year at some point if they didn't play him last year. You know, anticipation, right? You want to see that game. It's so important, and the NFL does a great job with that, and marquee and they stars. So do the NBA, and it's up to the fighters to really understand their value and their worth. We got another big fight. We got Errol Spence, Terrence Crawford. I want Terrence Crawford to go out there and blast Sean Porter. It makes the fight bigger. Okay, Errol Spence won by split decision with a knockdown. Okay, let Terrence Crawford stop Sean Porter in the 7th round. Guess what it did? It just revitalized Earl Spence versus Terrence Crawford. Okay. You think Terrence Crawford gonna win? Okay. It don't change that. It makes the fight bigger. It creates more conversation. I like big fight energy, man. And I think that's what the sport is missing. Big fight energy. Um, and when these black fighters got a chance, when these black fighters have who's texting me? Oh, it's no one texting me. It's Apple. uh when I'm just encouraging fighters to understand where they are in the game, and it's so important for these fighters to be in communication with one another. I understand that there's a line you can't cross as competitors, but when you talking about changing the game, man, that's the one thing Ali and Frazier didn't do. They didn't take ownership in their hands. They just took the check, and Ali, man, what a terrible story, dog. That shit just it breaks my heart thinking about that, man. I watched that documentary on PBS and how y'all say Bob Arum robbed him. The Nation of Islam robbed that man blind, dog. And it's just a tragedy, man. Not only did Herbert take his 33%, but his deal with Bob Arum was separate from the deal that he made with Muhammad Ali. So he got his money off top. My gosh, man. And that's what's happening in the sport of boxing. You have a promoter, you have a manager, you have an advisor, and then the money trickles down to you. Man, come on, man. There's too many people in between you and your paycheck. I'm just gonna say that. If you don't learn anything from Ali, learn he had too many people in between him and his and what he gets paid. So, anyways, uh, man, a lot of these fighters gonna end up broke. No matter how much money they make, a lot of these fighters will end up broke, and they're gonna be fighting, you know, well past their prime, and that bothers me to some degree. It really really does. So along the way, you got to pick up talents, you got to pick up skills, and you got to listen to men like me. Sport of boxing is gonna tell you I'm crazy, but to each his own. I've only, I mean, mm, yeah, it's I I root for these fighters, man, because they make such great sacrifice. They're not in the union, so the NFL and the NBA will protect their athletes with their retirement and pensions and health care. There's no health care and or retirement for fighters, so it's it's a tough life to live if you don't make it to the pinnacle and or invest your money. So it sounds good at the beginning. Hey, I'm going to invest my money and do A, B, C, D. But um, when you wake up at 32 and you're not even in the top 10, you know, it's rough. What's up, Lincoln? What you want them to see you? All right, go ahead. Show them the airplane. Yeah, put the camera's right there. Just put it in the camera. See, there you go. Cool. All right. Anyways, um, so I just want us all to win at the end of the day, man. I probably Anthony Josh was getting anywhere between 15 and 20 million for that fight. I mean, it was 60,000 in there. Um, and they probably gonna do a million pay-per-view buys over there. So I'm sure he made 15, 20 million. But imagine fighting Deontay Wilder in February. Barbershop I done did so many videos on this topic. And now Earl Spence and Terrence Crawford, you guys are up. You guys are up next in terms of big fight energy. Um, is that where we're at? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, Jamal Charlo and David Benavidez leverage their position against Canelo, assuming he beats Caleb Plant. I'm rooting for Caleb Plant, but let's just say what Vegas says. Does David Benavidez and Jamal Charlo have enough sense and wherewithal to leverage against Canelo and make him overpay the fight, or just let him go into oblivion? Or you gonna wait in line and say, please pick me, please pick me, please pick me? Anyways, man, barbershop conversations, man. I know it's tough to do, but we're gonna watch the intro to Nine. We're gonna watch the trailer to Nine Wives together again. And by the way, you only see 3 leaflets. We got 16 of them, y'all. 16 of them.
Good evening, messenger. You convinced us that you were the last messenger. How many other bastard children do you have?
15 to be exact. 15. Click the link below.